to go to Haridwar, the Dwar of Hari, the gates of Lord Hari. We will pray some invocation prayers.
Hare Krishna.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine. Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaura Katha Dhamadaya Nagar Gramatarine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, our Facebook live listeners, and our listeners over Zoom. Welcome to all of you to day one of the virtual Yatra to the Himalayas. So as Prabhu said in the beginning, we will first start our journey at Haridwar. We will take the blessings of Mother Ganga and we'll try to understand the glories of Mother Ganga. Then we'll start our ascent. We'll start climbing. And first place we come to is Rishikesh. Then from Rishikesh, we go to Gangotri and Yamunotri. And then we will go to Badrinath and Kedarnath. So we'll conclude our yatra in Badrinath. And we'll go to all these places during this last week of this Purushottam month.
Can we have the slideshow, please? So here, as you can see in the first slide, on the left-hand side is the Himalaya Yatra, and on the right-hand side, you can see all of the wonderful places that we would be actually going. But today, we are going to Haridwar. We'll hear the story of Mother Ganga. We'll attend the Ganga Aarti. Next slide, please.
We'll also take a bath in the Ganga.
Yes, and drink the fresh water. Next slide, please. So here, we are going to the place that is highlighted below, Haridwar, the gate of Lord Hari. And then from there, on top of it is Rishikesh. If you are seeing this on your mobile screens, you can zoom in a little bit. You'll be able to see all of them, Haridwar, Rishikesh. And then from there, we go to so many different, the blue lines are the lines for Mother Ganga, how Ganga changes into different streams and tributaries. Actually, it's coming down. And we'll follow the path upwards to Mother Ganga. And then we go to Yamunotri, Gangotri, and in Kedarnath near Gauri Kund, you can see there is Agast Muni, the place. Then we go to Joshimath, and from Joshimath we go to Badrinath. And from Badrinath we go little up to Badrikashram, which is the border of India and China. And in fact, there is a place when we go from Badrinath to Badrikashram, it says the last tea stall of India. And
it is at the border of the India. It is the Indian and Tibetan border. So there's the last tea stall of India, it is said, in the village called as Mana. Managram, it is said, Mana village. So we'll be going all the way there. We will be concluding our yatra at Badrikashram.
So with all these exciting things that are coming up, exciting places that we are going to visit, let us take the blessings of our ISKCON Guru Vrandas, the Srila Prabhupada, and all the previous acharyas, that we can go with the mood of devotion and in these yatras increase our love for Lord Krishna. Next slide, please. So Haridwar is famous for Ganga, which is Har Ki Pauri, which means Hari is Lord Krishna, Pauri is footsteps, or Har Ki Pyari, which means beloved of Krishna. So the footsteps of Krishna or the beloved of Krishna, Har Ki Pyari became Har Ki Pauri. And Har Ki Pauri also means the pada of Krishna, because Mother Ganga came down after touching the lotus feet of Trivikrama Vamanadeva. Next slide, please. So let's go to the story of Mother Ganga. How did Mother Ganga come to this this place in Har Ki Pauri, in Haridwar, and so many different places on earth? Actually, Mother Ganga used to be in the spiritual world. It was called Akash Ganga at that time, the spiritual world. And then from there, how she slowly came, let's illustrate that. So Vishnu once approached Bali Maharaj when the king was performing a sacrifice. And the Lord appeared before him in the form of Trivikrama as Vaman. You can see the dwarf Brahmana behind with a umbrella is sitting Vamandev. And he begged alms from the king, the form, give me 3 steps of land. That's all I want. Bali Maharaj was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. He was in the dynasty of the demons. He was the great grandson of Hiranyakashipu as well, but he got the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. And he told Vamana, you're a dwarf Brahmana. 3 steps, even your 3 steps will be smaller than a regular person's 3 steps. You're insulting me by asking 3 steps. Brahmana said, well, I'm just trying to be satisfied. I'm just satisfied with whatever I get. I don't want to be greedy, because if I'm not satisfied with 3 steps of land, I won't be satisfied with anything. There is no stoppage of greed. There is no limit to greed. So just give me 3 steps. And Bali Maharaj said, all right, I'll give you 3 steps. But if after that, if you want something, let me know. And so when he said 3 steps of land, Vamandev grew. And then next slide, please. He increased his size to, next slide, please. He increased his size in such a way that he covered the entire universe with the first 2 steps. And when he was covering the entire universe, as you can see, Lord Trivikrama, Vikrama means, Vamandev is also called Trivikrama when he increased his size. One who won or conquers the 3 worlds. He pierced the covering of the universe, and from the spiritual world, Mother Ganga appeared down.
So it is said that when Vamanadeva, as the Trivikrama form, when he stretched out his right foot up to the heavenly planets to conquer the heavenly planets, at that time he made a little hole in the universe. As you can see in the left-hand side picture, he made a little hole in the universe, which made the causal ocean to leak. So we should understand the causal ocean is actually Mother Ganga. It is a few drops of the causal ocean leaked from there, and because it got washed, the causal ocean washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadeva, became Charanamrita. Charan Amrita means, Charan means lotus feet, and Amrita means nectar. So the nectar that washed the lotus feet of the Lord is actually Mother Ganga. So Mother Ganga, she came because of this leak that was made by Vamanadeva. And when she came, so we should understand that Mother Ganga is none other than the causal ocean. A few drops leaked at that time. And that few drops was like gigantic drops. Each drop was gigantic. And it is said that when it leaked like that, they didn't know, the force of Mother Ganga is going to be so much, because she touched the lotus feet of the Lord, and because of that, her speed, her current, her force really, really was very, very strong. So who is there to hold Mother Ganga? Next slide, please. So it was none other than Lord Shiva. When Mother Ganga was, like coming down, just a few drops were falling. But it was like, as if an entire one drop was like, huge, huge, huge force, huge stream. So like this, Lord Shiva actually caught her in his matted hair, it is said.
And if he wouldn't have done that, it would have inundated the entire earth with its force.
Right. So therefore, Lord Shiva, who actually then just, he just held Mother Ganga in his matted hair and kept her there very securely in his hair. So it is said that because, Mother Ganga washed the lotus feet of Lord Vamanadeva, Krishna. Therefore, she is the Charanamrita, like we said, and it flows. These three drops became Mother Ganga, and which are located, in the soles of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. Mother Ganga is known by many, many names, because like Bhagirathi, Jahnavi. We'll understand all of them in a little while. But when Mother Ganga was in Lord Shiva's hair, it is said that she purified the Dhruvaloka and the Rishi Loka, all the Sapta Rishis, all the sages, everyone were, purified because Mother Ganga came as the Charanamrita. So they were able to serve the Mother Ganga and thus serve the lotus feet of the Lord. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Canto 5, Chapter 17, which is entitled How Mother Ganga Descended, verse 1 says,
Shri Shukavacha Tatra Bhagavata Saksha Yajnalingasya Vishnu Vikramato Vamapadangushtanakha Nirbhinnordvandakataha Vivarenanta Pravishtayaba Ya Jaladharata Charana Pankajavane Janarunaki Jalako Paranjita Khala Jagat Akha Malapaho Parshana Mala Saksha Bhagavat Padityanupalikshita Vacho Vidhimayanti Mahata Kalena Yuga Sahasropa Upalakshanena Divo Murdhani Avatarayat Tad Vishnu Padam Ahu. Sri Shukadev Goswami, he said, my dear king, Lord Vishnu, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, he appeared as Vamanadeva in the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj. Then he extended his left foot to the end of the universe and pierced a hole in its covering with the nail of his big toe. Through the hole, the pure water of the causal ocean entered this universe as the Ganges River. And we should understand the water of the causal ocean is also part of his sweat. Having washed the lotus feet of the Lord, which are covered with reddish powder, the water of the Ganges acquired a very beautiful pink color. Every living being can immediately purify his mind of material contamination by touching the transcendental water of the Ganges. Yet its water remains pure because the Ganges directly touches the lotus feet of the Lord before descending within this universe. She is known as Vishnu Padi. Later, she received other names like Jahnavi, Bhagirathi. After 1,000 millenniums, the water of the Ganges descended to Dhruvaloka, the topmost planet in the universe. Therefore, all learned sages and scholars proclaim Dhruvaloka to be Vishnupad, situated on Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. So then, now, Mother Ganga came from the spiritual world to the material world and still in the heavenly planets in the jata of Lord Shiva. Now on earth, there was once a wise king. His name was Sagara. Next slide, please. He had 60,000 sons. They were all brave. They were all strong. Anyone who would perform 100 sacrifices, Ashwamedha, would also become the king of the heaven. And Indra would get insecure. So Sagara, King Sagara, he completed 99 sacrifices and only had one more sacrifice to perform. 100 Ashwamedh Yagyas, you get Indra's post. So at the beginning of this is the final sacrifices. He wanted everything to go spick and span. So he chose the finest horse in the kingdom. As you can see, the horse which is running in the front, the white horse with an umbrella on it, is the horse of King Sagara. And all the army goes behind this horse. He set it free to wander over the world for a whole year. When the horse roamed into another kingdom, the king there had two choices. Either that king in whose kingdom this horse entered could accept Sagara as his emperor, or he could capture the horse and riding upon it declare a war against Sagara. But something weird happened that spoiled emperor's plan, King Sagara's plan. Indra, the king of the Devatas, he was insecure of Sagara. He was worried that the king might take over his throne in the heaven. So just as the horse was galloping off, Indra stole it, hid it in the underground. Now no one was able to find the horse. Where is the horse? If there is no horse, there is no conquest. Hearing this, King Sagara asked his 60,000 brave sons, go and find the horse wherever it is in the entire universe. These 60,000 sons of Sagara, they were so devoted to their father. They traveled all over the world to search for the house. Finally, for the horse, sorry. Next slide, please. Finally, they came to the ashram of a holy man, Kapila. They saw the sage Kapila was in deep meditation and was furious that he's being disturbed by these 60,000 people when they come here. Obviously, anyone would be disturbed. And so Sage Kapila opened his eyes and he burned all 60,000 of them to ashes. Now, King Sagara, where are my 60,000 sons? They had gone to get the horse. There was no cell phones at that time. There was no mobile. There was no international roaming plan. Where in the universe they may be? But then many, many years later, one of his descendants of King Sagara, Bhagiratha, he was the great grandchild of King Sagara. He became king after 3 generations. And when he heard the story of ancestors, he became very gloomy. King Bhagiratha, he was worried that after their violent deaths, his ancestors had not reached heaven as well. So he went to see Sage Kapila asking his advice. The sage told him, the waters of river Ganga, only they can purify your ancestors, because yes, they are burnt to ashes, but they are stuck in limbo. They cannot go to the higher planets.
So this picture actually is depicting that King Bhagiratha is coming to Kapila Muni. And if you see around Kapila Muni, the blue, there's some skull, there's, because it's the 60,000 sons who've been already burnt to ashes by the, the vision of Kapila Muni. Then Kapila Muni said to Bhagiratha that the only way to deliver your ancestors, all of these 60,000 of them, is by Mother Ganga.
So then he said, how do I get Mother Ganga? So sage told him that since the waters of the river Ganga could purify, you have to pray to Mother Ganga. So King Bhagiratha, great attention, started praying to Mother Ganga, please, please come. Where can I find you? How can I bring you to this earth? So Lord Shiva heard his prayers. Next slide. And he held out his matted hair to catch the river as she fell. In this way, he softened her descent to earth.
So that way, it is said that when Lord Shiva got very pleased with Bhagiratha's prayers, Lord Shiva then released Mother Ganga from his matted hair and allowed Bhagiratha to take her, from the heavenly planets down to the earth. So Bhagiratha was leading the way and Mother Ganga was nicely flowing, right behind him.
Next slide, please. Then King Bhagirath, he led the river across India. And then Ganga divided her into 100 streams. One of these streams, they washed the ashes of the dead princes, the sun, 60,000 sons of Sagara, and they were thus liberated. That's why she's called Bhagirathi, who was following Bhagirath. And then, if you remember in the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, in the Janu Dweep, Janu Rishi had captured one of the streams in his thigh. The thigh is called Janu. And then he released after King Bhagirath prayed there. So in Janu Dweep, it became Janavi. And here it became Bhagirathi. And so many different, to 100 streams that it came.
And you can see here Mother Ganga, she is riding the crocodile. So Mother Ganga's Vahana, or the carrier of Mother Ganga, is actually the crocodile. So you can see here Bhagirathi praying to Mother Ganga, and she's coming along with Bhagirath Maharaj, and thus getting the name of Bhagirathi. Jai Ganga Maiya ki Jai.
Next slide, please.
So it is said, according to Sripad Vallabhacharya, that Mother Ganga has three different forms in how she is worshipped. One is the liquid form, that she is giving us, the opportunity to bathe in her waters. She's giving us the opportunity to drink her waters. And there's a very beautiful pastime of how, Srila Prabhupada had, given us a technique of how to drink Ganga water, which we will share tomorrow in Rishikesh, because that pastime of how to drink Ganga water, Srila Prabhupada revealed it in Rishikesh. So tomorrow we will reveal that beautiful pastime of Srila Prabhupada to know the process of how to drink Ganga water.
It was more how to collect fresh Ganga water. Yes, so we will hear that tomorrow when we go to Rishikesh.
So next slide, please. So this is the first one, that Ganga is worshipped as in the liquid form by taking bath, by, drinking her water. The second way that she is worshipped is that she is the best of all tirthas. Tirthas is holy places. That she is having the potency to purify all the three worlds. And not just all the three worlds, but every person on this planet who touches her, who sees her, anything they do in connection to her, they take a dip in her, they drink her water, they will get purified. So Mother Ganga is worshipable as a holy place. Next slide, please. And the third way that she is worshipped, the third aspect of Ganga, is that she's actually not just in the liquid form or anything, but she has this divine personality. that, she is standing on a lotus flower and she's riding the crocodile. And she's so graceful, she's so elegant, and she's extremely merciful, especially for people in this Kali Yuga. That who allows, which personality will allow that, saying that, yes, you come into me and I will take away all your sins. I will free you from all your sins. Who can be so much merciful than Mother Ganga? Mother Ganga, she's inviting all of us that please come and take bath in my waters and I will purify you. She's so merciful, she's so graceful. And at the same time, one time what happened is, in Mayapur, we used to notice that, after the Gaura Purnima festival, many devotees would get sick. The actual residents of Mayapur would get sick. And one time I had also, just developed a cold, cough, and all that. And I remember that I was coming out of my father's office in Mayapur. This is maybe not maybe, sorry, it is in the year 1998. And His Grace Jananivas Prabhu, who is the head pujari of Sri Mayapur Dham, he saw me because I was sneezing. And it was right after Gaur Purnima festival. And I was sneezing in the corridor, in the passage, and he was crossing me. And I saw him and I offered obeisances. And he looked at my face and he could understand that I'm suffering from a bad cold. And the thing that he told me is that, oh, today Lord Chaitanya has accepted you as a proper Dhamvasi. And that statement kind of shocked me. I said, I'm having cold, cough. What are you saying? I was literally taken aback. But then Jananivas Prabhu said that, see, Mother Ganga, she takes, on every year during this festival time in Mayapur in February and March, people from all around the world are coming and they take their bath in the Ganga. They keep their, Mother Ganga absorbs all their sins. So then Mother Ganga was one time very depressed and she went to Lord Gauranga and said that, my dear Lord, I am actually taking all the sins, but who will take my sins? So then Lord Gauranga said, those who are Dhamvasis, they will share in your sins. They will take part of your suffering. So don't worry. And of course, the Supreme Lord is already there. So Jananivas Prabhu said that, that's why devotees actually fall sick after, the festival time. This shows that Mother Ganga is allowing us to take part in her suffering. And it felt so nice. That suffering for me that day was very blissful. I was very happy that I was accepted as a Dhamvasi, but of course later kicked out right now. But anyway, so this is the mercy of Mother Ganga, that she is so merciful, that she's inviting that please come and bathe in my waters and get purified. So she is worshipped as in this most graceful form as Mother Ganga.
So I'd like to add that a Dhamvasi is always a Dhamvasi, even though you're not in Dham. You're actually spreading the glories of Dham everywhere. So one time, Jananivas Prabhu told us when we went for blessings, he said, Dham is not a place, it's a state of consciousness. So you take this Dham, and wherever you go, you can actually make a Dham in this state of consciousness. So out of your humility, you're saying you are kicked out, but actually you're wherever a devotee is, Dhambasi is, that's where Dham is. So next slide, please. Now, Krishna and Balaram, they play in Jamuna. So we'll go to Jamuna 3 as well, the source of Yamuna. But Ganga Devi is thinking that Yamuna Mai is doing such a wonderful service. The Gopas are bathing in her. Krishna and Balaram are bathing in her. They are bringing the cows, the calves, the bulls to drink her waters. And they are having all sorts of water sports. She's supplying such beautiful, beautiful arrangements for the pleasure of Krishna. Yashoda Mai is bathing in Yamuna. So Ganga is meditating on the wonderful fortune of Yamuna. And when we are happy, when someone some other devotee gets mercy, when we are happy for that, we get the same mercy. This is the spiritual law of mercy. The first law of mercy. How does mercy transfer? When we are happy for someone else, when they get mercy. It's a very simple thing in one sense, but it's very complicated. So Ganga Mai is not jealous or envious of Jamuna, but she's so happy that Krishna and all his friends are having such most intimate, loving leelas. And then on the banks of Yamuna, the gopis are having Ras Leela with Krishna. Next slide, please. And Yamuna is offering soothing breezes for the pleasure of Krishna and Radharani and all the gopis. And all she does is just serve and facilitate, love to facilitate pastimes. And Ganga Devi is meditating on this good fortune, so happy of Yamuna. And because she's happy, Ganga is happy to see Yamuna getting mercy, Ganga also received the same mercy. And the proof is that when Krishna came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, next slide, in Kali Yuga, Radha Krishna appeared as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Radha Bhavadyuti Suvilita, Naomi Krishna Swarupam, and performed the same Braja Leela in Navadvip. Ganga was given this fortune and opportunity to assist in every way. And how she assisted in so many wonderful pastimes of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu right from his childhood. When he was about to appear, all the Navadvip Dhamvasis, they, during the eclipse, all of them, they were in Ganga, praying, chanting Hari Bol, Hari Hari, Hari Hari. And in those days, the whole duration of the eclipse, everyone would stand in Ganga and chant the holy names. And then Nimai, when he was a little boy, his mother would make all arrangements for him to bathe in the Ganga. Like here, Nimai, the golden boy in the middle, is Nimai. And he was a student. For a major portion of the day, Nimai and his students would just play in Ganga. And they would splash everyone, spit water in the faces of the Brahmanas, and all of these different sports that Nimai would do.
And Nimai, the sports in the Ganga that he would do, little Nimai, are so mischievous. Nimai was so naughty that when the Brahmanas, the elderly Brahmanas, they would in the afternoon they would stand in waist deep water and they would chant their Gayatri. Nimai would swim underwater and then he would go and tickle their feet and then he would pull them. When they're standing and chanting Gayatri, he would pull their legs and then they would just fall like this back on their backs flat and they would say, "What happened? What happened?" And then Nimai would again swim back underwater and say, "Who did it? I didn't do it. I am here. You're there. I didn't do it." So like this, and then Nimai, he would also do so much mischief that there would be separate bathing ghats, like bathing places for the men and the women. And Nimai, what he would do is, the men would leave their dhotis and they would enter the Ganga. The women would leave their saris and they would enter the Ganga. Nimai would exchange their clothes. And then when the men would come out, they'd find saris. Women would come out, they'll find dhotis and they would say, "Oh, Nimai, what are you doing?" This is how Nimai during his school days, he was very, 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 very naughty. And like this, so Mother Ganga's desire that how Krishna sported in the waters of the Jamuna because she was so happy thinking of those pastimes. Nimai, who is the combination of Sri Radha and Krishna. So he sported in the waters of Mother Ganga so beautifully, so wonderfully, giving immense pleasure and joy to Mother Ganga.
Next slide, please.
And Mahaprabhu, as we all know, you see here that Mahaprabhu is none other than, Radha, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. And then when Mahaprabhu, after he took sannyas, when he went to Puri, it is said that according to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Mother Ganga was also extremely eager to assist Lord Chaitanya because he used to bathe in her waters minimum 3-4 times in a day. So she was missing his association. So it is said that, she could not tolerate that separation. So Ganga Mata was flowing from She started flowing from Navadvip, and she came and merged into the sea, into the Bay of Bengal. And that is the place where Jagannath Puri is located, in the Bay of Bengal. And that is, where she actually continued her service. Next slide, please. Like we all know how Lord Chaitanya, sported in the waters of the ocean, of the Mahasamudra, the Mahatirtha, where Ganga has culminated and she has merged into the ocean, and she has culminated into the ocean. And that way, Ganga and the Mahatirtha Samudra, they're all serving Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So, like this, Lord Chaitanya continued to sport in the waters of Mother Ganga.
And this place where Mother Ganga rushes into the sea to merge into the ocean is called Ganga Sagar. So it's Ganga, but then she's a river, but then she merges into the sea. At the Ganga Sagar, there is a Ganga Sagar Mela every year. And so therefore, this Mahatirtha ocean is also has Ganga as one of its rivers that goes into it. And then even in Ganga, in Navadvip, all the when Lord Nityananda arrived, everyone was like surprised, and they would actually go, all the devotees would be happy, but they would go and complain to Mahaprabhu, this Nitai, Nityananda Prabhu, he is, I don't know what to do with him. He goes and dives into the Ganga, and then he climbs on the crocodiles and then rides the crocodiles. What is he doing? And we can't even catch up with him. And he does so many different things which are just out of this world. So Mahaprabhu started laughing and he said, you cannot imitate Lord Nityananda. He is Avadhut Mahajan. He is completely out of this world. But Mother Ganga received the mercy of Lord Nityananda as well, and her carrier crocodiles as well. They also received the mercy of Lord Nityananda simply because she was so happy with Mother Jamuna receiving the mercy of Krishna's pastimes. Many different ways. Now, in this Mahatirtha, we also saw Haridas Thakur's body were bathed. So many wonderful pastimes. When Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu decided to go to Bengal, what did he say? He said, I come in two forms in the age of Kali. I come as wood and I come as water. As wood, I'm Lord Jagannath. And as water, I'm Mother Ganga, who have come to deliver the fallen souls of their sins and give love for Krishna. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was walking, he said at a point, you know what? I'm going to Bengal for two reasons. One is to see my mother, Mother Sachi, and to see my another mother, Mother Ganga. And he was on his way. As he came close to Ganga, he started glorifying anyone who bathes in Ganga, touches the Ganga, drinks the water of Mother Ganga, sees Ganga, or anyone who's just touched by a breeze that has come from the Ganga will get Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Next slide, please.
So this is Mother Ganga. This is the glory of Mother Ganga. So this is Mother Ganga at Sri Haridwar. She is very, very, her currents are really strong here. So we will take bath first and then we will attend the Ganga Arati. So let us take bath. Next slide, please. So this slide is showing, of course, all of us are taking bath. We worship the Ganga, and you can see my parents there. They are holding on to the chains. There are chains at this, in this Harki Podi in over here. That if you don't hold on to the chains, and if you're trying to just enter, the water currents are so strong, it'll just take you and go away. So strong currents. So we hold the chains and take a dip, but we are also offering flowers and ghee lamp to Mother Ganga. As you can see, we are holding in our hands. Before taking our dip, we are holding some worshipping articles to worship Mother Ganga. So Jai Ganga Maya, let us now take a dip. 3 dips. Let us take 3 dips into the Charanamrita, the water that has washed the lotus feet of Lord Hari. Jai Ganga Maya ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai, Ganga Maya ki jai. So let us dip like this. Next slide, please. So here we are attending, if you can see the bottom right picture, we are all waiting for the Ganga Arati. And the other 3 pictures are, we are waiting for the Ganga Arati to start. So we are all sitting there. Every evening, there's a huge crowd that is gathered to watch the Arati of Mother Ganga. So beautiful. It is such a beautiful sight that, so many, all the temples that are on the banks of Haridwar Ganga, they all come down to the steps and they all come with huge lamps and they do Ganga Arati. It's a sight to behold every evening, even today, every evening at 6:30 p.m. there is the Ganga Arati.
Next slide, please. So behold this wonderful, beautiful sight of Ganga Arati with lighted temples in the middle of Ganga. Beautiful scenery of all these lamps, huge Arti lamps, which are uh, with which this Arti is there, and then on loudspeakers there is nice, wonderful, melodious Arti of Mother Ganga, and thousands and thousands of people every day they attend this Ganga Arti. Next slide, please. This is a little bit of a close-up of the Ganga Arti, and you can see the lamps. Har Har Gange, yes. You can see the lamps and their flames. They are just
They're
so huge.
huge lamps, like this big lamps that they are, using, and they hold it with towels because it goes on for 5-7 minutes. So their hands would burn. So you can see here that they are holding with towels the lamps, and they are just, doing such beautiful, amazing arti. It's really a wonderful sight to behold. Jai Gange.
Yeah, next slide, please. So now with this beautiful, wonderful darshan, we end the first day of our Himalaya Yatra. We went to Haridwar. We heard about the glories and the origins of Mother Ganga, and we attended the Ganga Arti, all auspicious Ganga Arti with their darshan. And so we pray to Mother Ganga to please purify us and allow us to assist by our behavior and our words in the preaching mission of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Ganga Maya ki
Jai.
jai. So we can end the slideshow here. And today we thought that we could sing a very nice Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan we can have at Mother Ganga's, while we are sitting in the banks of Mother Ganga and we are taking darshan of the Ganga Arati. We thought that nothing more pleasing to her than the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So let us sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra together. Harivol, and then we'll open up for questions.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Jai Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Srila Gurudev ki
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we can open the lines for questions or comments.
Garima.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dhanavad Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I love the wonderful class you gave about Ganga and all. I have two questions. One of them is that why Shiva like has shape like a half moon and snakes.
Oh, why he has snakes? You see, the snakes is, representing that, poison, that Lord Shiva, he took poison in his, throat, and he kept it in his throat. The snakes are wrapped around him to depict that he is Nilakantha, that he has poison in his, throat that he has put in.
Also, one time, Garuda had gone to look for some snakes, and so he came across Vasuki, and the Vasuki snake was used for churning the ocean of milk. This Vasuki got really afraid, and he took shelter of Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva said, if you are in my neck, no one can defeat you, no one can come near you. So that's also considered one of the reasons that he has this particular snake around his neck to protect Vasuki. And then the crescent moon that's there, it's because you know the moon god Chandra, he went to Prabhas Tirtha. He went to Prabhas Tirtha to make a linga of Shivalinga on the bank of river Saraswati. And he prayed to Lord Shiva for 6 months. And that's where there is now in Prabhas Tirtha a temple called Someshwar Mahadev, Someshwar temple. Soma means moon, Ishwar means the Lord of the moon is Lord Shiva in one sense. So then Lord Shiva wore this crescent moon on his head, making him grow for 15 days and then diminish for 15 days. So that is one of the reasons that he has crescent moon on his head.
And I have another question that like in Goloka there is Krishna. So in the material world, we're not happy, and when we serve Krishna, Krishna is getting enjoyed so much, and we're serving him. So I feel that it's like we're walking, and we're serving him so much, and he's getting so much enjoyed. So I feel he's getting more enjoyment than us, which we're serving him.
Very good realization, Beta. That is absolutely correct. Krishna loves to give pleasure to his devotees. Krishna loves to see his devotees happy. Just like how Mama is so happy when you are happy, like that, Krishna is like our father, and he, becomes very, very happy when we are happy. And when we become happy in serving Krishna, that gives so much pleasure to Krishna, it is said.
Yeah.
So actually, Mataji, she was asking this question to me during the day, that why we are not enjoying and Krishna is enjoying. Then I tried to explain her the envy and everything, that why we are here.
Yeah.
But then she said, but why Krishna is enjoying and we are not enjoying?
Well, we are also enjoying. We are enjoying. Just like we are participating. We are enjoying by participating in Krishna's enjoyment. Like if Krishna is playing, and if we play separate from Krishna, then it's not that much fun. But if we join Krishna, then he makes us enjoy much more. So right now, when we are not enjoying, it's because we are not actually wanting to participate in Krishna's fun. So our goal is to participate in Krishna's enjoyment and play with Krishna, and in that way we will get pleasure when Krishna gets pleasure. Right now we are doing it as a austerity. Do you know austerity? We are doing it even if we don't like it, we still do it.
Like a trouble.
Like, yeah, I don't like it. Like you go to school, you don't like it when sometimes. Of course, you're homeschooled, but many children don't like going to school. But still they go. They don't like to study, but they still study because it'll help later. So similarly, if we even if we don't like it, if we still do that thing, then eventually we'll be happy. Another example Prabhupada gives is when we are sick. We don't like to drink medicine, but if we still drink the medicine, even though we don't like, then that same thing that we don't like, it cures us. Right? So right now, we may not be deriving happiness because we are sick. We cannot play with Krishna properly, but still our medicine is to try to play with Krishna, even when we don't like it. As a medicine, I don't like to do seva, but I will still do seva because that's the medicine. And then that medicine will cure me. And then I will be able to be happy seeing Krishna, enjoying with Krishna. So Krishna is enjoying. He wants us to enjoy as well, participate in his enjoyment. But until we are sick, we cannot enjoy.
Yes.
So just like also Srila Prabhupada gave the example that this hand is part and parcel of the body. If the hand thinks, oh, why should I, take prasadam like this and put it in the mouth? I don't want to do that. I only will cut my hand and then I will put, prasadam inside it. This hand can think like that. But will it be happy if it thinks like that? Will the hand be happy if it thinks like that? No. It'll be so much painful. The hand will have to be cut and then, stuffed with prasadam. But is that the way to eat? No. The way to eat is when the hand picks up the food. When the hand picks up the food, puts it in the mouth, and then the mouth digests, enters into the stomach, and then it digests, then the entire body is nourished. So like this, just like the hand is serving, in service, it is being happy. So similarly, as part and parcels of Krishna, when we participate in the pastimes of Krishna, then we will be happy.
Yeah, now I understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Vacha. You asked a wonderful question. Thank you. Kirti?
Hare Krishna Mataji Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada, Guru and Gauranga. I have 2 questions, Mataji. So, and Prabhuji. So my first question is, when Srimati Radharani, she didn't open her eyes until Krishna. I don't think she also heard anything until Krishna came and woke her up. And Radharani didn't want. Radharani wanted to see Krishna the first thing that she saw. So after Krishna left, how did Radharani live? Because she basically opened her eyes before Krishna. She's always lived with Krishna. How can Srimati Radharani live without Krishna? Krishna is like her everything.
Very true.
She stayed without Krishna in remembrance of Krishna, because Krishna is absolute. There is no difference between Krishna and his remembrance. As soon as we remember Krishna, he's there. We may not feel it, but Radharani would feel it. So Krishna is in the smaranam, in her is his remembrance. Krishna is in his shravanam. When we hear about Krishna, he's there. When we chant Krishna's holy name, he dances on our lips. But we don't, unless we get purified, we won't be able to experience that. But Radharani does that. And when Krishna left Vrindavan, he went to Mathura. Even then, how did Radharani survive? She survived on the remembrance of Krishna, of the wonderful pastimes that they had. So when Radharani looked at Krishna the first time, just by that remembrance of that association, she continued surviving until she could see again. And then again, she had to come back, and again she would survive by those memories and the remembrances.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the answer. I have one more question. My question is, we always care so much for Krishna. We give Krishna prasad, and we love Krishna a lot. So how do we see if Krishna loves us? Krishna can just come and tell us we love you, Kirti, or something like that. How will Krishna tell me that he loves me because I love Krishna?
Okay, that answer is a very, very simple answer. When Krishna gives you more and more opportunities to serve, that means Krishna loves you. That shows how much Krishna loves you. When he makes you love him even more, that shows, because love can never be one-sided. That kind of love will always die down. But your love is keeping on increasing to Krishna. That shows that the love is two-sided. That even Krishna is loving you. Therefore, you are able to love him even more. And then there's a competition. Who can love more? Is Krishna loving you more? Or are you loving Krishna? As soon as you love Krishna more, then Krishna says, oh, I want to love you more. So then he comes and loves you more like that. So there's always a competition between the devotee and Krishna. So he always gives more and more opportunities to do different kinds of services. And when we see that, devotees are engaged in so many services, that is proof that Krishna really loves them. And he is really happy with those devotees. So that is the greatest proof, Srila Prabhupada said.
And also, when you eat food, how do you know that you're full? Does anyone have to come and tell you, hey, you are full now? You yourself feel, oh yeah, I'm completely full, I'm satisfied, I can't take any more. So similarly, when Krishna loves us, we will experience that love, of course, in the form of service, but also in the form of gratefulness. Any happiness that you get is actually the source is Krishna. Sometimes indirectly, sometimes directly, but we go for direct source Krishna happiness, happiness that comes directly from Krishna rather than through other things.
Hope that answers your question, beta.
Yes, Mataji Prabhuji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Shri Chaitanya Kumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. This is Jamuna Das Mataji.
Hare
Mataji, is there any difference between Ganga Maya and Manasi Ganga? And what is the pastime of Manasi Ganga?
So to hear about the pastimes of Manasi Ganga, we'll have to have a little patience. When we discuss in Vrindavan, when we go to Vrindavan in Kartik, that time we will talk in detail about Manasi Ganga. But there is no difference between Manasi Ganga and Ganga. That is Ganga.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Chaitanya Kumar Singh Prabhu, you had a question?
That was
that's
German.
okay, sorry.
That was German. Anju Agarwalji. Hare Krishna, Anjali.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai
Krishna.
Shri Radhe.
Jai Shri Radhe.
Radhe. Thank you for taking us to Haridwar. My childhood memories were alive, you know. I had gone out with my father and mother every year for the thing. And it was so beautiful seeing Harkipuri after a long time. Thank you for such a divine, again, one more parikrama. And today, actually, it is little related to Kirti's question. Yes, I understand that Krishna's, I can feel that love and that prem bhav because the devotion has increased. But nowadays, I feel, you know, my favorite thing is to serve him. And I know that I have a family also. But most of my time, you know, I'm most happy when I'm in my puja room. And my daughter has told, don't you think, Mama, nowadays you are spending most of your time in puja room? What has happened to you? Yes. And I said, I just don't know. I feel a lot of peace, and I think so. I feel very much peaceful and happy when I'm doing seva for Krishna. And she said, she just pointed one thing also. So I thought I'll ask you, but still we feel we should spend more time also in the family. And I said, yes, I should. But I was spending time, but I don't know, I was not 100% over there. I felt like that. Well, like, though I should be, but I was not. I will, an honest confession, it was not 100%. I was just thinking, okay, I have to do my job, I have to do this, I have to do that, going in my mind. And like, you know, I just wanted to go back and finish after doing my work, just wanted to go and finish my job. So please, could you just tell me how to balance it out?
You know, this question is very beautifully answered by Prabhu. That he always says very wonderful statement. He says that actually, you know, this question is asked about how to balance material life and spiritual life. Yes. Srila Prabhupada gave a very beautiful answer. He said, it's not about balancing. We don't have to lead two lives. It's about spiritualizing our material life. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. You see, Srila Prabhupada is very intelligent. Srila Prabhupada, he named our society International Society for Krishna Consciousness. You know, it is ISKCON. ISKCON means ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So he didn't say it is International Society for Krishna Activities. So which means that we should not neglect our responsibilities and our duties towards our family also. They should not feel that, you know, Krishna has taken my mama away from me, you know, that should not happen. So even when we are actually with our children, we are giving time to our children, we are giving time to our family, we are taking care of, you know, our household activities. When we are doing all that, in our mind, we can constantly chant. There's nothing to stop us. Nothing to stop us in doing that. So we can constantly always be connected in, and just, in the morning hours when we are doing our sadhana in the morning, in the early morning hours, if we have very nice sadhana, then the entire day, is very nicely spent in Krishna consciousness. That we will always remember Krishna in the back of our minds. Externally, we may be doing so many external things, but in the back of our mind, always in our consciousness, we are remembering Krishna. We are chanting Hare Krishna. That is the beauty. So we must not neglect. Definitely, we must not, because our family should not feel that, they've been neglected. They should not feel like that. But at the same time, how to, make them feel also very comfortable. Rather, imagine if you can make them feel that you have now you are becoming more loving towards them. Now you're becoming more wonderfully, serving them so nicely, making such wonderful offerings for, them, and you're, offering it first to Lalaji, to Kanha, and then you're giving them prasad. They will be also so happy. Wow, Mama, you're making such nice, food for us. They will not know that this is actually prasadam. So you are making them, advance in their spiritual life. And at the same time, they're glorifying you. They are actually, very happy with you. So you being a devotee, you are actually making them love you even more. And that way their spiritual life is getting more and more enhanced also. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That is so. Instead of balancing, if we spiritualize our material life also, then it is in our consciousness. But we have to make sure that we finish our prescribed number of rounds, maybe before our family wakes up, in one sense, and then have some. If we can do proper time management in a regulated way, then we can spend some time with the family, as well as with in developing our Krishna consciousness in terms of chanting and hearing. But if we are doing time management, they will respect. They will respect that. Okay, this is, look, I will do anything for you, but this is my boundary. This time, give to me, because I want to spend it for Krishna consciousness, and actually, you should also spend with me. So if you maybe do different things, maybe I'm sure you're celebrating festivals, and in those festivals, if you can involve the family as well at home, your daughter can do something, and maybe if your husband is interested, he can do something little bit, and give them some little services during festivals or something like that. Or you can say, let's read this story of Krishna. I will tell you one story of Krishna to your daughter, and then maybe she'll be happy that you're spending time with her. At the same time, you are uh, being Krishna conscious. So that's one way. If you make your family Krishna conscious, whatever time you spend is devotional service. If you serve them, that's devotional service as well. You're serving Vaishnavas. So, but we can't force them, of course. But with our example, with our
Love.
behavior, we can do that.
We hope this answers your question, Anjali.
Yeah, by Krishna's blessings and mercy, yes, full family is Krishna consciousness, and they do take part in all the things and all. But but I'll just say, yeah, limited thing. Like okay, fine. They will just come. They will just offer the things and just go, and the thing. But like for me, it is like I don't know. I just spending. It is always the back of mind. And nowadays, even watching TV also, I don't like at all. And just the most peaceful thing is like spend more and more time. And this I have noticed gradually it has increased a lot. And yes, so even making doing all the works, just do it and all. Krishna is always at the back of the mind, but spending more time and do more service for her, getting up at 4 o'clock also, everything. But I'm enjoying it. I'm Like, for me, it is complete bliss. And I don't even want to gossip. I don't want to take part in the things which I think is not right, after understanding the Shalok Bhagavad Gita, still long way to go. So this was the only thing, like, am I doing on a right thing or still just a thing? That was the concern.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just reflect on what we said and think about it and see what best you can do to, make your family feel that you have not forgotten them. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hey,
Kajal,
Hare
you had a question?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Haribol. It's nice to see you again.
Haribol.
Uh, yeah, so I just piggybacking off Anju Mataji's question about, I guess my question would be like the varying degrees of, say, for example, you have family members who are into Krishna consciousness, but are not fully engrossed in it. So how do you deal with that? Because, they may not understand. I'm not saying I'm on a higher level or whatever, but I'm just saying that, it's all different. Like some family members are just like Anju Mataji was saying, that they may participate, but they may not be fully engrossed in it. So
Right.
how do you deal with that varying level of degrees of Krishna consciousness?
You give them their space. Don't force anything down their throat. Don't do that, because that would sometimes not help. And you would also know your family the best, but we can just give a few options. You can see what best fits into your situation. But general rule is that we should not, force things down to them, make them, feel that, oh, you better do this. Then the atmosphere of the house becomes very hostile.
Mm.
You have to have such a conducive atmosphere, so that it has to be nice and happy place. That's the duty of the grihini, or the lady of the house, that to make the atmosphere so conducive by her expert nature that everyone is anyways, just becoming attracted to, love Krishna, becoming a family, without having, like if you have everyone, having different centers, kids have their own centers, mama has their own centers, papa have their own centers, everyone has their own centers, and you draw a circle, they will intersect, they will clash. And that kind of situation is not very healthy for the family. But rather, if you have one common center, and you don't make it too, oh, this, we have to do this, just make it very casual, very
And
casual.
fun.
And fun, yes, make it very fun. And sometimes to make it fun, you'll have to pretend that you're having fun in their fun activities. Then when we do that, then they say, oh, you came and participated in my fun, I'll come and participate in your fun too. That's family. So we cannot expect
Yeah.
that if we are not doing something for them, they will do something for us. So therefore there are these different, because Srila Prabhupada said, it's a very crude example Srila Prabhupada has given, but Srila Prabhupada said, one devotee is a family of, one member of the family is a devotee, the others are not, then that person needs to behave like a married woman who is having an affair. This is a very crude example, please pardon me for this, but Srila Prabhupada said this, that, how does a married woman who is having an affair, how does she behave? She behaves very nicely. She takes care of the family very nicely, so that no one suspects. So Srila Prabhupada said, we are also having an affair with Krishna, but that no one has to know. No one has to know. But by our behavior, we can make our family also have that same affair like us with Krishna. That's the purpose. And the way we can do it is, by our intelligence, by praying to Krishna. Krishna, give me the intelligence that how I can, make this family very conducive, so that everyone comes very, very naturally attracted to you. everyone becomes more and more naturally attracted to you. So that is the effort of the devotee.
But is
Another
it
way
also?
is,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
another way is that you can make friends with other devotee families. So when your spouse meets other devotee spouses, they see how they are doing it. When your kids meet, make friends with other devotee kids, because there's only so much that they can hear from or get inspired from their mother or spouse or something like that. But when they see others are also doing it, and it's just normal, they are also leading normal life. In fact, they are much happy. We can also be like that. So that
You can try it. Yes,
association with other Krishna conscious families also helps.
a lot.
Is it also okay to detach from, like, say, if you have certain family members who may not be assisting in your Krishna consciousness? Is it okay? I'm not talking about nuclear family, but extended family. Is it okay to detach yourself from them, in a respective manner,
I'm
if
not
you have
sure.
the opportunity?
I'm not sure if we can answer that. Because it would be your personal choice. If you feel that their involvement in your life is getting too, detrimental to your spiritual life, then could be.
But we
Could
should
be.
Okay.
always be respectful,
Yes.
Sure.
and we should always be caring, um, and limiting the amount of association. That depends on case to case basis, and you would know
How to deal with
best.
that.
How to do? Okay.
But like one example is of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, his father was not at all Krishna conscious. How did he deal? He was humble, always respectful. Even at one point he said, "O king of the demons." He even glorified in that sense. So um, he was humble but firm. He was like, okay, I will respect you, I will give all respects, I will care for you as well, and I will respect our relationship, but this is my area. This, you know within this circle, uh, if you try to intervene, then that is not good with me. So you be firm on that stance, but be humble and respectful at the same time. So Prahlad Maharaj's stance was humble but firm. And same thing we do, humble but firm. And then eventually they'll respect our space, the space that we want as devotees. If we don't ask for it disrespectfully, or doesn't lead to disrespect
I see.
or non-caring.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your wonderful question. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vrinda Gopika Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा अजी अद्वैत चंद्र प्रभु अजी काला सुधा माता जी कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम शिल प्रभुपाद से गुरुदेव की जय. How nicely you narrating the leelas. We enter in the Ganga Mayas, and then Bhagirathi is came in their sadhana, and Srimati Ganga Maharani is not ready to come in this material world, and after that they came from the Lord Shiva's head, and you teach us that Sisi Ganga Maharani's Har Ki Pedi dham, and every day there is so many devotees are doing aartis, and all diyas going in the same way. So many lakho hajaro diya is going in a big padya and with flowers, and yes Mataji, we have to take a वो साकर पकड़ना होता है. That is our Gurudev. Without Gurudev we cannot take the spiritual path, and वो पकड़ के हम स्नान कर सकते हैं. Then Srimati Ganga Rani is teaching us a nice lesson that when she see that Yamuna Maharani is in Yamuna Maharani, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani and gopis and gwalas are doing leelas, and she's so happy to see that. And in Gaur Leela, Sisi Nima and Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji is doing leela with Panchtatva, so that we should we so happy if to serve newcomer Vaishnava, and even our family. It is very easy to break down the relationship, but it is very challenging to hold the relationship. Like our Guru Maharaj, Radhanath Maharaj is in 9th grade, and that is the time the husband, the papa and mama is taking divorce, and Guru Maharaj told her mother that no, mama, no, don't do that, don't do that. And Guru Maharaj is crying and give one flower and talking with her mother. And evening time when father is came from the office, and they close the door, and Radhanath Maharaj is sitting. He is very young. Maharaj is very young boy, not 9th grade, maybe 5 or 6th grade, 8 or 9 years old, and he's sitting outside. What is the going inside? And they're taking Guru Maharaj, father and mother is taking decision that for our kids we will stay together, and we have to in this Kali Yuga it's very to take divorce, but in our time my papa said that pagdi ki इज्जत रखना, so that there is no diya in our home, but by our sincerity, by our behavior, by Krishna's mercy, they sit on our shoulder and they become so sincere Vaishnava. So our sincerity, our japa, we have to told them this is 5:30 to 7 is my japa time. And after that, I saw father-in-law, mother-in-law, whole family, kids, everything. And day by day, um, uh, we are talking Krishna Katha with our kids, and by that way, day by day, given Mahaprasad to them, and they become so sincere Vaishnava after 20-23 years. So that so much patience need. And Guru Maharaj, parents teach us that uh, we have to stay together for our kids. And our Srila Prabhupada also said, first take care of our family. When we are take care of our family, that is also one temple, and that is also that by that way also Shri Radha Gopinath Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev is so happy. And you explain about Ganga Maya, Nityananda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is taking bath with the Panch Tattva, and that way Ganga Maya also take the seva so nicely. Mataji, you take us in a dham every year. Papa is taking Haridwar, Rishikesh, Sridham, Vrindavan dham, and you take us every day new dham. थैंक यू माता जी. नो वर्ड्स टू योर सिंसियर सेवा. कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम. कुछ ज्यादा बोला है तो माफ करना.
नहीं, very nice, very nice. बहुत बढ़िया बोला है आपने. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
All right. If there are no more questions, we can end here. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya. Oh, Rasika Mataji. Rasika Mataji, you raised hands.
Sorry by mistake, Prabhu.
Okay, no problem.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ganga Maya ki
Jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrind ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.